Ballyhoo and welcome. The Passion Project continues. My name is Remedy Riot, and this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and gripping imagery as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with Deep Dark Truthful Mirror from Spike, released in 1989. The songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello's birth name. While stunning would be an understatement, I'll do my best to not overtly and continually bow down to the brilliance contained within this piece, although it is absolutely implied. The pugilistic nature of this piece, both literal and figurative, combined with the verbal sleight of hand that flows throughout, beginning with the title itself, is, well, masterful, demonstrating both Mr. Costello's poetic prowess and the brilliant execution of the Gestalt concept of linguistic cognitive completion and inference. One day you're gonna have to face a deep, dark, truthful mirror, and it's gonna tell you things that I still love you too much to say. The sky was just a purple bruise, the ground was iron, and you fell all around the town until you looked the same. The first two lines and the last two lines of this verse don't seem to rely on each other to get a point across. There seems to be some sort of ethereal condemnation that is vague, yet they converge in such a way where we can think it makes sense, intimating that self reflection could reveal something that I still love you too much to say sounds pejorative, as if the conversation could only address negative attributes. Well, I'm not saying it isn't what it appears to be, especially with a chorus that helps remove the ambiguity. I'm pointing out the human propensity for filling in the blanks, our brains looking for order, exploring the complex interplay between an individual's experience and their context. As an example, the vivid description of the physical environment, the sky and ground, so crisp in our mind, could lead the last line to discount part of that imagery for want of what is expected, what is understandable. That is to say, beaten, like the sky, when there are other adjectives lurking in the shadows, namely hard, like the ground. There is so much that our minds have filled in without Mr. Costello having to, or probably wanting to, spell it out, even though it sounds as if it's exactly what he's doing. In this sense, his brilliance has left it to his listeners to do the heavy lifting scattered throughout this first verse. The same eyes, the same lips, the same lie from your tongue trips. Deep, dark, truthful mirror. Deep, dark, truthful mirror. In a funny way, this chorus provides a sly, belligerent, and clever contradiction to the assertion that the mirror will tell you what the narrator cannot, reflecting back perfectly the eyes, lips, and mouth from which lies spill out. Yet, whereas the mirror seems to faithfully reflect the physical features, as mirrors do, it's the lies that are deep and dark, which are now being blurted out. So much for having too much love to mention it. Now the flagstone streets, where the newspaper shouts ring to the boots of roustabouts, and you're never in any doubt there's something happening somewhere. Well, you chase down the road till your fingers bleed on a fiberglass tumbleweed. You can blow around the town, but it all shuts down the same. The notion of news permeates this verse, inviting the listener to fill in the gaps in the same manner the first verse did with its cognitive completion by utilizing the gestalt slant. Newspapers don't shout. Old timey newspaper boys do, which I'm guessing is what sprang to mind first upon hearing this line, as it did for me. The word flagstone helps to augment the nostalgic feel. Something happening somewhere calls back to what might be contained within the newspapers being hawked. And to no surprise, Ring might be doing double duty here. The shouts are a melody accompanied by the sounds of the heavy steps from the boots of laborers, another nostalgic take using the word roustabout. Ring may also be foreshadowing the boxing match that is soon to come, but who's to say? Remember, the sky is a bruise, the ground is iron, and now there is more peril and more truth. The danger of a fiberglass tumbleweed merges with the hard ground, bleeding while the you of this instance blows around the town, emulating that which is sought after, regardless of the pain it may cause. No matter where the breeze takes you, there is always an end. It's a dangerous world that is being painted. So, why fiberglass? It is in direct opposition to the organic tumbleweed, yet it doesn't overtly rhyme with any other word in the verse. So, I don't have a guess past it's just not natural, but it is certainly vivid. So, what more can we ask for? So you bathe for the boy in the tiger skin trunks. They set him up on the stool. He falls down like a drunk. And you drink till you drool. Well, it's his story you'll flatter. You'll stretch him out like a saint. But the canvas that he splattered will be the picture that you never paint. The more slow drags I do, the more I recognize how many boxing references Mr. Costello has embedded into his canon, with this verse clearly an example of that penchant. It's also animalistic, beginning with the howling sounds of a boy wearing an animal who is savaged to the point he's down for the count. Note it's a tiger skin, not a tiger print. Then, and I don't have to tell you, the double meaning of canvas in this respect is simply sublime. You'll only say good things about him, but you will never paint the canvas that he's laid out upon. All the while, his destruction is met by you trying to forget what is happening by drinking until you drool. I'd rhetorically ask if there is a better verse in human history with only a hint of hyperbole, but we all know the next and final verse of this piece is a mini masterpiece all on its own. A stripping puppet on a liquid stick gets into it pretty thick. A butterfly drinks a turtle's tears, but how do you know he really needs it? 'Cause a butterfly feeds on a dead monkey's hand. Jesus wept, he felt abandoned. You're spellbound, baby, there's no doubting that. Did you ever see a stare like a Persian cat? This is where I reiterate that slow drag with Remedy is also billed as an appreciation, as this verse needs no linguistic deconstruction, explanation, or examination. The references to towns and cats tie nicely to other pieces on this stellar album, and although the album itself is thought of as eclectic in subject matter, it's still cohesive in spirit. Here's an example of how I like to know as little as possible about the concrete situations where lines might be taken from. The second and third lines of this verse bear this out. I have a vague recollection, so I could be wrong, that Mr. Costello was watching a nature program which has made its way, without context, into the second and third lines of this verse. It's as deep and as personal as a listener would like it to be. Not for nothing, Jesus wept is said to be, depending on the translation, the shortest verse in the Bible. And again, not for nothing, I've always wondered, given his intrepid touring schedule, if Mr. Costello has ever had a pet as an adult, and if so, what names would he give them? With Napoleon, Marshmallow, and now Nijinsky, God and everyone else knows where I get the inspiration for my pets' names, along with, of course, this very podcast.
Dig it.
Again, this has been a slow drag with Deep, Dark, Truthful Mirror from 1989, Spike. What a joy it is to romp through the stellar lines, concepts, and worldscapes that Mr. Costello creates seemingly effortlessly. This piece takes full advantage of Gestalt's holistic approach to the mind and its environment, causing our minds to find order that it has strategically been omitted and or obscured. Themes run deep, merge, diverge, and contradict themselves. Deep, Dark, Truthful Mirror is a triumph among triumphs. This has truly been a sincere appreciation for the brilliance that runs deeper every time I set out to do a sexy slow drag with these timeless and brilliant words and phrases. Other precious gems from Spike. You'll enjoy a slow drag with our episodes 10, A Terrible Crime. That's a slow drag with Let Him Dangle. Episode 39, The Secret, It Arouses. It's a slow drag with Satellite. Episode 55, Even a Scapegoat. That's a slow drag with Miss Macbeth. Episode 65, Chop Up the Chairs. That's a slow drag with the inscrutable Coltrane Robberies. Episode 78, Shrinking Nothingness. That's a slow drag with chewing gum. And episode 115, Lipstick and Grease Paint. That's a slow drag with God's Comic. And that's it for today's slow drag. Thank you for listening. I'll be back soon with another sexy slow drag. So, until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow drag with Remedy.